Hello everybody, my name is Evan and welcome back to another Brawlhalla video. Today we're going to be going in a little bit of a rant because there's this guy who tweeted out, and he is a Brawlhalla organization owner of Divine Gate. His name is Zoro, right? And he released a tweet that started a pretty big Twitter thread that says, name a better org than Divine Gate. And so some people replied, just, like people saying SIB, Legion, Client, probably too. And long story short, the Twitter thread continues to expand, and he asked, okay, what's your criteria here? And someone else answered by the name of Nomadograph, saying that they don't use AI for their stuff and actually pay artists for starters slow amount. And Zoro replied saying, not only do we pay our artists, we will continue to use AI. And oh my goodness, that created an entire ethical debate on Twitter and an entire conversation between so many people and him based on his ethical contradiction that he just stated. Now, it's hypocrite. It's very hypocritical to say that you are paying artists while also continuing to use AI art. And so, that doesn't cancel out, okay? Let's just get that straight. It doesn't cancel out when you're paying artists while also using AI. Because this does not create an ethical balance. It creates an ethical consideration because you just can't support artists while also promoting the very thing that devalues and replaces human art. It's like going into a restaurant and saying just, oh, guys, I hire chefs, but we also microwave half your food. That's how it sounds, because that's exactly what it is to actual artists. That's how much is devaluing artists. And okay, when you're sitting down, right, typing in your prompt and everything, when you're using the AI model, what do you think it's built on? What do you think is used to train these AI models to create the art that you are using? I'm gonna tell you this straight up. The people who made these AI models, like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, are not artists. They didn't create the hundreds of thousands of arts that have so many genres just to be used to train the AI models with those datasets. What they do is just scrape the internet off of human art that is made by humans without considering their consent. And so even if the AI art itself looks original, they are stealing the patterns, the techniques, and styles based on the datasets of real human work. So continuing to support AI art is just supporting the exploitation of thousands of artists whose work was taken without pay or acknowledgement. And so the harm doesn't just go away because, a user isn't the one who trained the model. Just because you're a consumer, that doesn't excuse you for using the AI model. And keep in mind that artists in the industry already have some of the lowest average incomes in comparison to any other industry, okay? So using AI art makes it harder for those artists that are already working with less income to survive, as well as making it even more difficult for emerging artists to get their work out. Because when an org uses AI, it lowers the perceived cost of creative work across the board. AI art can flood the timelines with just cheap content, making it hard for real artists to compete. Even Fiverr has their own section for AI art, in particular. And so this shrinks the demand for paid commissions. Even if you're paying for it, why use it on an actual artist when you can use it on a machine that can just produce anything that you want just by a simple prompt? Now this makes it even harder for small artists to just break in, and the public use of AI art is just setting such a bad example because it influences others. You are the owner of a Brawlhalla organization, a pretty large Brawlhalla organization, mind you. This tweet that you're saying and the actions that you are doing isn't just a personal choice, because when you are in a position of leadership, or a very public role that normalizes AI use, it sets a precedent that makes it so that smaller orgs or players follow suit thinking that it's okay because the owner of Divine Gate is using it. which can amplify the damage. So, leaders in creative communities should actually just uplift human creators. You should be helping artists, actual artists, and not automate them in any way. Keep in mind that artists aren't just tools, they're collaborators. So when you're working with artists, it's about the dialogue, it's about the conversation, it's about the mood, the back and forth, the talking, and the intention behind it. AI does not think of that. They just do. It's a machine that removes all of that and turns creativity into a vending machine where you just type in a prompt, get a product, and that's it. Like, maybe you can adjust it in some way, but that there's no thought and emotion behind it. And that just cheapens what it means to create something actually meaningful, And just saying that you pay your artist is such a PR move. It's like waving a receipt to avoid accountability because you paid for it, I guess. This statement is just designed to just shut down the criticism that people have. And I know you're having conversations, I know you're having DMs with people, but it doesn't matter if one or two people get paid if you're actively supporting a system that hurts thousands of others, that making you a part of the problem. You just can't claim to have a moral high ground by paying for an artist while normalizing the tools that erase the need for thousands more. It's not just a tool. I feel like a lot of people, not only this guy, think that, AI is just a tool. Have you ever considered to compare the software of AI art with actual art softwares? You see, Photoshop and Blender actually have tools that would guide and require skill to take advantage of to create art. AI art isn't built ethically. You wouldn't use a stolen base texture and just say, well, it's just a tool. Because every time that you use AI art, you're leveraging unpaid creative labor. And this entire situation, this entire option and move to just go forward and replace artists with AI, it just leads to shallow, mass-produced, soulless content. AI art is so bad. Relying on AI creates, visually consistent but emotionally empty designs. So communities built on creativity like Brawlhalla will just lose their soul if AI generated art is just normalized. So if you really supported artists, you wouldn't be using the tech that threatens their existence. And you just can't pay artists and call it ethical while riding on the backs of thousands of unpaid ones. And keep in mind that just artists are not charity. They're professionals. Using AI while paying one is not noble, it's contradictory, and normalizing AI art is a betrayal to every artist, concept designer, and illustrator who built Brawlhalla as a community. That's just everything I have to say about this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss another video. And keep in mind, no hate to anyone. I'm just calling this out and giving my stance, giving my rant, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!